What's going on, guys? This is DJ with All Day DFS, and I hope y'all guys had a great night. I hope y'all guys cashed in. This is the After Dark edition. Let me know down below how it went for y'all guys tonight. Let me know if y'all guys cashed in. Let me know if your night was ruined, kind of like mine. I had the last 2 days. I've had 2 terrible days. And guys, I'm always gonna keep it real with you. That's one thing that you get with me. I'm a real one. I'm not gonna sit up here and I'm not gonna act like I always win. I'm not gonna pretend. I'm not gonna sugarcoat anything. I'm gonna tell you how it is. Last week I had an amazing week. I profited big time. These last 2 days I've lost some of that profit. And it hasn't been good. I mean, with the recap, I mean, just today, just players that you. I mean, I learned a lot again today. I said, even when you lose, I've been saying this. Even when you lose, you need to learn from your losses. Don't let it just be a complete loss and not learn something from it. Today, there was a couple popular plays throughout, the whole PrizePicks community that were locks again, and they didn't happen. And guys, just because they got the player doesn't hit doesn't mean that a lot of the times doesn't mean that it's his fault that he didn't hit. A lot is based on rotations, the coaches, blowouts. Now at this moment in time in the NBA season, the traded players are barely getting into the rotations with their new teams, and a lot of them took away a lot of minutes from other players that normally would have got those minutes. So, that's something that I learned. Hey, after the All-Star break for the first couple games, until you see the rotations are pretty much set or something normal, I guess you should say. Don't bet heavy on players that look really good. Like, today the big guys that ruined a lot of things was Moses Brown. He might have got there. He was supposed to get more minutes in the fourth quarter, but they had Bradley, a player that new on the team. He ate into his minutes, and he didn't get there. But I mean, I know he should have got an extra 4 to 5 minutes, which should have helped him hit. But he probably should have been able to hit before that. But maybe it was just a matchup. A lot of times we got to look more into the matchups. I know we'll look at the last 5 and we'll be like, oh man, he's crushing it. He's averaged 14 rebounds the last 5 games, and they have him at 11, so he's definitely going to hit the over. But look at the matchup and see how that team gives rebounds to the centers or gives rebounds to that position. Yeah, he might be averaging 14, but if that team only gives up 9 rebounds a game to a center, maybe it's not smart. Run a light line and see. I keep trying to give advice and teach, and I kind of go back on it, and I keep going with the community, the locks, and it was a good bet, but I mean, he didn't get there. One that I thought was gonna be like that I bet big money on was Kevin Porter. Once Wood was ruled out for the Rockets, I went in there quick and I got Kevin Porter, and of course you got to put him at least with one other player. You got to do a 2-pick power. So I got Kevin Porter, and I put him with Ru Holiday. See, Ru Holiday, some people had him on the under. Some people, I don't know if he went over full game, but I did the research. My pick. Nobody else. I didn't see nobody else with this out there. Maybe somebody else had it, but I didn't see it. Clippers are giving up the most points to point guards. Without Pat Beverly in their defense versus point guards is not good. And so he was at 16.5 points. So I'm like, I did the research. I'm like, that's an easy over. Boom, and he hit the over. And Kevin Porter got, I think, 25 points his last game with Wall and Wood. So I said, 16 is going to be easy. There's no Wood. He's going to have that usage bump. When Wall's on the bench, he'll be running he'll get the most usage, blah, blah, blah. He ended up with 10 points. I played him on points, and I played him full game, and he couldn't hit either. He was only 26 fantasy points. All he needed was 26 fantasy points, and he couldn't get there. I mean, based on what he has done in the past, with not, with the other stars not playing or the main players on that team, you would think he got there. And John Wall didn't have a big game either, and he didn't get there. And it was like, you can't even make this stuff up. And it's like, again, we learn more and more. Don't, something that, I mean, there's things that look too good to be true, and Sometimes they are. Another one, Thaddeus Young was at 22 today. He got the we got the news that he was starting, and I'm like, oh my God, 22 for him seems even low if he's coming off the bench. If he usually gets between 23 and 25 minutes or something like that, he gets over 28, 29. He had a streak that he was over like 28 for like 15 out of 16 games. So you look at all that and you say he's at 22 and he's starting. There's no way he can go under that. That's like free money. So I got Thaddeus Young at 22, and I matched him with Reggie Jackson at 20 because Paul George was out. And what happens? Reggie Jackson hits, which I was sweating Reggie Jackson. I was scared about him. And Thaddeus Young doesn't hit. And I'm like, Thaddeus Young will hit because, he gets blocks, he gets steals, rebounds. I mean, he gets all the stuff. That's why I always like betting on him, because he's good with the peripherals. I mean, he gets blocks, he gets steals, he gets rebounds, he passes, he does everything. And I'm like, there's no way that so he comes in the fourth quarter, only needs 2 points. Reggie Jackson hit. Thaddeus Young only needs 2 points, and he can't get there. I mean, he had a turnover, so he ended up like a point and a half under or something like that. I think he was supposed to be at 22. I think he was like at 20.8. And of course, he comes in, I think like 10 minutes into the fourth quarter. He only plays for 4 minutes. It's going towards a blowout, so the coach pulls him quick, doesn't even let him play. He only played 23 minutes the whole game, which should have been enough for him to get over 22, but he didn't get over. So I bet big money. On Jackson and Young. I had a combination. I had a two-man power, like two-man powers with Jackson and Young. I said, this is easy money. This is free money. And I did a combo with them and a couple other people, and Thad Young messed it all up for me. Thad Young, Kevin Porter, Moses Brown stopped me from having a huge day. I mean, I'm talking about huge. I'm talking about thousands of dollars I would have had if it wasn't for those 3 guys. So again, I'm just learning more and more. I mean, don't put all your eggs into one basket. Which, I mean, we had the Joval Vasalut. Well, I can't even pronounce his last name, from the Grizzlies, and Brown. Those were the 2 picks on rebounds that should have got you there. But every line that I had Joval in, I put Brown with them because those were the 2 surefire locks. If I would have took Brown out and put Joval with some other mixes or whatever, I could have won some. I could have cashed in. But I had those 2 on every single one. So that's again another learning point. Don't go heavy with the same players in the same line, because if just one miss, especially if you're doing powers, if just one misses, you're done. And I messed up there. I messed up I did $100 4-pick power, which I used to do a lot of that in the beginning, and I stopped doing that. I mean, I only put big money into the 2-pick powers. Every once in a while, I'll put big money into a 3-pick power, but I definitely don't put big money into a 4-pick power. And I messed up, and I put $100 on it, and right away I think only 1 out of the 4 hit anyways, but just all you need is just one person not to do what they're supposed to or whatever, and you lose. So it's like, that wasn't smart at all. I should have done a 5-pick flex if I wanted to do that many picks. So yeah, guys, I'm sorry, I'm just going on and on. I'm just trying to give y'all guys what I think help you, what I'm learning. Another thing that I've learned is that don't if the player's a scorer. I think I mentioned this in another video, but this is what I'm seeing more and more and more. If the player's a scorer and doesn't do much of nothing else, bet on points, because there's a lot of players that go over their points but don't go over a full game. If the player is only a scorer and doesn't rebound too much, doesn't assist too much, he might get 2 rebounds, 2 assists, something like that. Doesn't do blocks and steals. For these guys to go over a full game, they're just going to have to go off scoring wise, which, it could happen, but I mean, it's not going to happen often. I mean, if they're at, 28, these guys are not always going to score 28 points. They might score 20 points, have 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and still not get you there. Which is crazy, because if you think, they're at 28, they got 20 points, that's, all I need is 8 points of something else. But again, if they don't do those other things, they're not going to get you there. So more and more, the single stat is looking better to me. Full game is not looking. I mean, you have guys like Westbrook that kills it. Tatum killed it tonight. I mean, full game, you can go full game. I mean, but those guys, Westbrook does so much. Westbrook does everything. So that's a guy, Westbrook, Harden, Giannis, those guys. But when you have guys that are their main skill is shooting and most of their points come from scoring, I'd rather go points. Like I said, I got Holiday on points. Reggie Jackson, I got over on points. I had him on a couple lines. He didn't do much else of other stuff. But anyways, this is just some stuff that I learned tonight. Again, it wasn't a good night, but like I always say, don't get too high, don't get too low. So let's go ahead and get into it. Like always, PrizePicks has 8 players on the board. First, we got Terry Rozier at 38 versus Washington, which I know that's going to be a good matchup. And he's really high up there. I guess, without Lonzo Ball, they have him high they're starting him high now. So, yeah, 29th ranked overall, 27th ranked versus his position. His last 5 versus Washington, he's gone. He was at 38, right? He's gone over, let me see here. Oh, he's been right there. He's only gone over once, but he had 2 other ones that he hit 38. So, 3 out of 5. If it's a tie, I guess it's a hit, right? Last 5 games, he's gone over 38 2 times. But the matchup is really a great one. They have him projected for 34.2. I'm taking the over because it's just a great matchup. It's a great matchup. So why? They're having 4 points below, and again, that's only one website for projections right now because most of the other sites don't have projections up yet at this time. I myself would take Rozier on the over at 38. He's really like the main guy now. Russell Westbrook at 58. If Beal's not playing, it seems like it don't matter what the number is. This guy should just crush it. 25th ranked overall, 12th ranked versus his position, so it's not really a good matchup. His last 5 versus Charlotte, he only played 3 games. He went over 2 out of 3. His last 5 games overall, he was at 58. Yeah. His last 5 games overall, he's gone over 3 out of 5. They have him projected for 49.7, so I have him way under. They have him way under. If Beal doesn't play, I'm gonna have to go with the over. Because this guy had 20 assists tonight. He had a triple double. He had 20 assists. He does it all. He does it all. So I will go on the over. If Beal plays, then it's either a fade or go under. But right now, if there's no Beal, I would go over on Westbrook. Next, we got Gordon Hayward. He's also at 38 versus Washington. All right, so another great matchup. 29th ranked, 27th overall. His last 5 versus Washington, he's only played them twice. He went over once. His last 5 games overall, he's only been over 1 time. And Draft Dashboard has him at 34.8. It's tough. They have him projected for 4 points under, but Gordon Hayward looks like he's become more like the distributor, kind of like a point forward. He's getting assists, he's getting rebounds, he still scores. I think I would have to go on the over. If I were to play him, I would go over. It's against Washington. It's a good matchup, so you gotta, one of these are probably gonna go off. I don't know if I would have them both in the same line or anything like that, but I could have a mixture of Rozier and Hayward going over. Hayward's been popular a lot for the under, but you gotta think there's no Lonzo Ball, and he's doing a lot more of the ball handling and stuff like that, getting the assist and stuff like that. Again, this is all that's on the board right now. Tomorrow, the single stats are looking more and more better. Big shout out to Oscar, Cat Guard Oscar, in our Discord. He hit a 5 for 5 pick flex on 3-pointers. The single stats are looking more and more good, better than doing full game. Like, I rather, if I'm gonna put big money on a bet, I'm thinking I'm rather gonna do single stats instead of full game, because again, like tonight, who would have thought that Thaddeus Young cannot get 22 points? Really, 22 fantasy points. Who would have thought that? I really would have thought he could at least got 22 fantasy points. It was a total letdown. But they might have Gordon Hayward at 5 assists. His assist is looking good. A good matchup. He's doing more of the ball handling. Terry Rozier is doing more of the scoring, whatever. I probably would play Hayward on assist. Next, we got Ben Simmons versus Denver, and Ben Simmons is pretty much the Sixers. I don't play the 76ers anymore. Anybody on the Sixers team, because every time I play them, they let me down. But Tobias has been pretty steady lately. 10th ranked overall, but 28th ranked versus his position, so he definitely has a good matchup. His last 5 versus Denver, he's gone over, what was he at? 41. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm looking at Tobias and we're talking about Ben Simmons. My bad. Been a long night. So 10th ranked, 6th ranked overall versus his position. So it's definitely not a good matchup. He's not gone over in his last 3 versus Denver. He hasn't gone over at all. His last games versus Denver, last 5 games overall. They have him projected at 39.7. So again, I mean, last 5 hasn't gone over. The last 3 versus that team, he hasn't gone over. Bad matchup. I mean, he's almost at 40, so he's right there. But I mean, I would have to go on the under on that one. Yeah, so based on the matchup and what he's done the last games versus the team and last games overall, I would go under on Ben Simmons. I would go under. Next, we got Jokage versus Philly. So it should be a good match. Well, they're number 1, but I mean, I know number 1 has a lot to do with Embiid. I mean, Howard also has a lot to do with that. 5th rank overall, 1st versus his position. His last 5 versus Philly, he's gone over 3 times, 3 out of 5. And his last, he's at 53. 53 seems low for him. Usually he's around 56, 57. He's gone over 3 out of his last 5. They have him projected at 55.6. I mean, with no Embiid, I know Howard's in there, and Howard's good defensively, but he doesn't play big minutes, and he's been getting ejected the last couple times. I mean, I still think that Jokage will be good. Like, I will pick him on the over. They like him on the over. I like him on the over. And at 53, I mean, that's low. So if you're going to run a full game line, I would get him tonight because tomorrow he'll probably be around 55 or 56. Now we got Tobias Harris. And Tobias is at 40 on here, so he's below. Simmons is 41. So 10th ranked, 28th ranked overall, so good matchup. His last 5, he's gone over 3 out. Well, his last 4, he's gone over 3 out of 4. His last 5 games, he's gone over 3 out of 5. They have him projected at 39.3. I mean, if I had to pick out of these 2 guys, I would pick Simmons under and Harris over. Harris has been hitting more. I mean, I don't like, to be honest, unless it's Embiid, I really don't like to pick 76ers players because I get burned by them so much. Every time, like, it looks like they're going to hit or it's a good matchup or whatever, they don't hit. And especially these guys, Harris and Simmons. Now, Harris has been doing good, but he always does good when I don't pick him. When I pick him, he burns me. I've been doing better off the role players like Danny Green, Seth Curry, Howard. I would go over based on the matchup, but see, here's the thing: you got Gordon's playing now, so I don't know if Gordon will play him. Gordon is actually good on defense. A former teammate. Gordon has energy now with a new team. Might have something to do with that. He might not get there. I would fade both of these guys. I would fade Simmons and Harris. But if I had to play them, because this is all that I have to play, and I had to play it, I would play Simmons under and Harris over. Next, we got Trae Young versus Phoenix. So I already know that that's not a good matchup for him. Yeah, first ranked overall, and first ranked versus his position. So yeah, pace down game. Last 5 versus Phoenix. So what was he at? I'm sorry, 44. So the last 5 versus Phoenix, he's only gone over once. His last 5 overall, he's gone over twice. They have him at 44.5. So they like him for the over by 0.5. This is another tough one. I mean, these early picks are not as good as they used to be. They're really PrizePicks has really stepped up their game on these lines to where they're like right there. So it doesn't give there's not much value to start the night like there used to be. And he's right there, but it's a bad matchup. So if I had to play, I would play him on the under. I mean, but he's Trae Young. He can go off, hit all kinds of threes. He gets a lot of assists, so he can go off at any time. So, I mean, I myself, if I would fade him, I would play him on the under if I had to play him, but myself, I would just fade him. There's going to be a lot better plays tomorrow. I'm not going to touch him because he can get there, but it's a bad matchup for him. So, it's too risky for me to play him. Next, we got Booker versus Atlanta. He's at 37. 11th ranked and 4th ranked. 11th ranked overall, 4th ranked versus position, so it's not a good matchup for him. He's gone over 3 out of 5 versus Atlanta. In his last 5 games, he's gone over 3 out of 5. They haven't projected right at 37. So this is another one. I mean, from what I'm hearing, I don't know. I don't know if the guys were playing in the chat, but like I said, I follow the Orlando Magic, which is just we basically, like they're saying, we have a G League team out there right now. But I'm excited about their young players. Some of them look really good. I'm excited about that. I'm excited that the Bulls lost because the Magic have the Bulls' first round pick. It's top 4 protected, but if they fall to the top 4 but still in the lottery, that'll be nice for us. But anyways, 37. I mean, that's another one that I'm just gonna fade because from what I hear, Kevin Huerter is like he's a clamper. Like, he'll put the clamps on people. He puts the clamps on people. He's good defensively, which I don't know because again, I follow the Magic. But it's another push for me. I wouldn't play it. If I had to play him, I would probably play him on the over, but I'm not touching it. I'm fading it. For this game coming up, I've been doing a little bit of research. I already like Chris Paul over on points. I'm already looking at Chris Paul over on points. So more and more for me, guys, more and more it's looking like single stats is where it's at. This full game stuff, I've lost. Like I said, I had a good week last week, but it seems like I never catch a break. I don't know if y'all guys can feel me on this one. I never catch a break. Like, I'll lose by 0.1. I have lost by 0.1 at least 4 to 5 times the last couple of days. Like, right there, 0.1. I've lost by 1 point, 2 points, and I would have won if these guys would have not turned it over. So here's the big tip of the night. If y'all guys have listened to me this whole time all the way up to here, here's the big tip of the night, and here's what I want y'all to keep in your head and your mind, is that single stats. Once they reach that single stat, there's no turnovers with single stats. If they're at 10.5 rebounds and they get 11, they get that 11, they're not going under. They're not going back under. If, there's turnovers have nothing to do with the single stats. So keep that in mind, because tonight, if Thaddeus Young would have not had 3 turnovers, he would have went over 22, and I would have made thousands of dollars. I would have made thousands of dollars tonight if turnovers didn't count. So again, big tip of the night. I hope y'all guys are still with me to this. I know this video is a long video. Single stats is where it's at because, and I know that rhymes, because once they reach that point, there's no going under. There's nothing preventing them from going over. There's not like, oh, well, he would have had 15 points, but he had 3 turnovers, so he only had 12 points. No, there's no turnovers in single stats. It's an obvious, thing. Like, yeah, you're right, of course, but just think about it. There's nothing that's going to bring them back under, and there's nothing that's going to prevent them from going over, like turnovers prevent full game or first half or whatever. So keep that in mind, because turnovers are a bitch, and they've cost me a lot of money throughout my time playing PrizePicks. So tomorrow we got MLB. If y'all guys know any MLB, I want to get on that. I want to play it. So if y'all guys can help me with that. If y'all guys are looking for a PrizePicks community, a chat room to just strictly dedicated to PrizePicks, we're in there. Come and join us. If we lose as a team, at least you have that support and you have people building you up. Hey, you know what? Tomorrow we're going to get there. Don't worry about today. Like I said, can't get too high, can't get too low. Come in there and join us. The link is down below. We share picks. I have people asking me to pay for my picks. Like I said, I've had 2 bad days, and like I said, I keep it real with y'all guys. If I lose, I lose, and I tell y'all, because I'm not going to sit here and pretend, fake it till I make it kind of thing. No, I'm straight up. I see a lot of other gurus, even on PrizePicks, that are always talking about PrizePicks and give out advice and do this and do that, but they hardly even play. Like, you don't see no winners. Obviously, you're not gonna see losers. They don't even, they don't share with you, if they lost or if they won. I'm gonna be straight up with you. Two bad days in a row after having, like a week and a half of great. If you follow my Twitter, you probably see like a straight week of nothing but winners, big winners in there, winners. I'm not gonna lie, I've had 2 bad days in a row, but you know what? Tomorrow I'm gonna bounce back because I'm gonna get them. I'm gonna get them, and I have a lot of people that want to make this a full-time thing, living off of it, and we're gonna get there. Like I said, I have people asking me to pay for my bet, pay for my picks or something like that. Down the line, I do expect to do some kind of premium, offer some kind of premium service to my community that follows me and stuff like that. But I'm not there, and I'm not worried about that. I mean, right now, I just want to help as many people make money. If I help enough people make money, I'm gonna make money, and I'm gonna get what I want. So right now, it's all about for the free, free 99. That's all we're doing. We're not gonna charge you, the same stats and the same stuff that you pay money for to get from other ones. We have those same stats. It's not a big secret. If you're on Twitter and you follow a lot of these guys out there, the same picks that are in these premium, services, you'll get them on Twitter. You'll get them. So I mean, just come in and join our Discord. Come in and chat it up with us. Come and join our community. But anyways, that's it. That's all I got for y'all guys tonight. Like I said, I hope y'all guys cashed in. Let me know down below. Let me know who y'all guys like for tomorrow. Let me know if y'all guys any of the sports that you can help with. You don't have to be a basketball expert. Come in there and help us with whatever you're expert at or whatever you're good at. And we would love to have you on board. So anyways, y'all guys have a great night. This is DJ with All Day DFS, and I'm out.